small town where the mountains. Brenda's sitting by the window pane, lost her husband, lost her name. Government's hands, they took her kin, but they'll never take her spirit's grin. CPS came knocking at her door, took her babies, left her sore. But Brenda's heart, it ain't for sale. She'll fight back, she will prevail. Oh, Brenda, keep on rising high through the tears under troubled sky. Life ain't easy, the road's so rough, but love is stronger, love's enough. Empty rooms, memories linger there, echoes of laughter, whispers of care. She plants hope in each day's light. In the darkest hours, she finds her fight. Neighbors pass, they cast their glance. Whispers say she don't stand a chance. But Brenda's dreams, they never fade. In her eyes, the dawn's parade. Sun will shine through clouds and rain. She'll mend the broken, salve the pain. For every loss, there's a new gain. Through every downfall, she'll remain.
We're cutting it off and we're bringing it back. And okay, so we already got some people in the chat. Hello, Dr. Death and Athena.
You are live, okay? All right, y'all have a good one.
So thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome.
Time, guys, was we're cutting it close. I got to get a video visit with Chris, which absolutely didn't even work yesterday. But we're hoping that my video, but like at least I found out when I went to see Chris that indeed we are able to. Hey, hi everyone. But yeah, I talked with like we're waiting. Some other lady was visiting her husband or whatever, and she's like, "What? You can do video visit?" I'm like, "What? It never worked for me." Then she told me it had to be through JPay because they did some weird thing where they connect Securus and JPay. So I had somebody at the facility saying no, they don't do video visits. So I got some wrong information, then I got correct information, but we're trying to make it sure because yesterday it's kind of funny because I did that the little thing I put up on TikTok yesterday. I was at this park and it was a country band and they were playing Wish You Were Here. And it just reminded me of that. And then I did a little tape of it or whatever. You can hear the music in the background, but it said something like, and I lost my thought. Wish you were here. Oh, your lips move, but I can't hear what you're saying, right? And literally that was how the visit went yesterday. So I'm like, I taped the thing, went on with my husband, and I said maybe I could just add some words later. Of course, they kept bugging him to cut his beard, and everybody, if anybody knows the Jewish religion, they don't believe in cutting their facial hair for religious reasons. I think it's in Ephesians or something like that in the Bible. But also, everybody is well aware that the greatest men in history had really the longest beards. I mean, look it up. That beards actually are part of your distinction, part of showing your intelligence or something. And like I say, geniuses had the more smarter they were. Get it the way I'm talking. I'm not very, I don't have a beard. But the smarter they were, the longer the beard is how they felt about it. Okay, Athena, thank you for joining. Herbert, about time I seen you. But in any case, we have all been still fighting the fight, even though we might have not been coming live to you. I mean, the work never ends with trying to expose these crimes going on in the dependency courts and whatnot. And again, what I took down a couple notes because I was thinking about, because I always not good at keeping up on some of this stuff. But then again, it's like, that's what I say. Okay, I'm going to write it down, but God knows where I wrote it down at. But it's a violation of the federal law, what's happening in these dependency courts. Okay. And so, I mean, we have some different groups here and there, saying do this, do that. But pretty much it seems like everybody's on the same page as what they're doing. So, well, that's what I'm saying is, why don't we just come together as one force and say, hello, we're here. We're the force of the parents to be reckoned with. And gosh dang it, where did I write that down? Boy, that's gonna upset me for sure. But it was just the same title, USC 241 and 242, I believe it is, where this is what you can turn into your what do you call it? Your U.S. attorney generals in each state. Okay, you find out where your region in your state is, and we get this stuff together. Maybe we'll fill out this form of civil rights form. I mean, you can download that off of any Department of Justice website, I'm sure, right, Danielle?
Right. I totally come in on that one because I seen Dr. Death's comment right here. It said, Brenda, is there a federal law? I remember last night I did say I was going to look into that, and I will do that right now, okay? I will be right back with that answer for you, Dr. Death, okay?
Okay.
But yes, and I do agree with you, Brenda, if I heard you correctly. What were you saying?
Okay, because it's so the U.S. attorney has the enforcement in each state of the 18 USC and 242 and 241, and these dependency courts that are stealing our children, it's they're guilty of civil rights violations, sedition.
Are you talking of the U.S. district attorneys in the states or what?
No, and was a lot of confusion with a lot
Remember
of
there was,
people.
yeah.
It's the U.S. Attorney General. Okay,
Yes.
the
There
U.S.
you go. Yeah.
Okay,
You're
it's
right.
not,
Yes.
because those are the people that can report directly to the president, and that's are the people that we want to get our information to.
Hey,
So
Miss Tammy. Sorry,
yeah,
Brenda. Hey,
and
Miss Tammy. I see you. Hey,
Liza
everybody.
as well. Tamil. What is it, Tammy or Tamil? Come on, can somebody be clear on this?
It's
Are you
Tam. It's I think it's Tammy because I think Tammi. But yeah,
it's using a big
is
I
it
at the end?
Tammy or is there an I at the end, Miss Tammy, or is it Tamil? Or is that an L, hun?
It's
We were
almost like
talking about that. We were
I think she doesn't care one way or the other.
yes, it was. I mean, we did. Yeah, right. She's still here with us, and that's what's up. And I
Yeah.
hope she's doing well. And we love you. And I'm gonna mute. I'm gonna mute real quick. Vicky May said, "Hey, Brenda,"
Oh, see, that's
and
why I
I'm
said
gonna go
clear. All
look up
right.
this for Doctor Death.
She
Okay.
figured it out. Okay. So that's what we were talking about. So I know there's a lot of talk about getting these things two different places. The thing is we're not going to be able to do that in the lower courts because everybody can see the result that's happening in the lower courts, and you're not going to get anywhere. Okay, that yes, of course, the laws are put into place that CPS and these dependency courts are supposed to be helping families, but we find more often than not is they're taking the children away, keeping them from themselves, and it seems to be all about the money. And that's why I'm thinking, you know, every step of the way, we just got to follow the money. And these are this is federal funding that is being used. So think about the fact of all these the Social Security that they've been talking about with
It's
the Doge.
Tammy, Brenda. She just said that. Tammy. Thank you, Miss Tammy.
All
Thank
right.
y'all.
All right. So there again, I was Brenda's wrong again. But
No, we just clarified that. Remember, we were asking.
all right. All right.
But
Oh,
you're
okay.
good, Brenda. It's not. You're not wrong. It's
She's got
okay.
dash, little eye, little eye.
All right, I'll let you do your show. My bad. I didn't mean to interrupt. Y'all, we're back and we're back in action and we're ready to rock and roll.
That's
All right, y'all.
It's like the Transformers roll out and or pack it up, whatever you want to say, because we work better like as a team. That's what I was mentioning the other day. Did anybody ever used to watch that one little cartoon with their kids? It wasn't really a cartoon. It would have the little animals, the little duck and the hamster or something like this, and they'd say, "What's gonna work? Teamwork." And that's what it's all about, because we can't go in there by ourselves looking like fools. You know, we gotta have some backing. And so everybody knows somebody. Okay, so we have some people saying, "Oh yeah, we know somebody in the Department of Justice." Well, good for you, but can we be included in on this? Because if you're going in there alone, I mean, this is we're a force to be reckoned with, because it takes what does it take? It takes a village, is what they say. But anyways, that's what I was taking down notes, because I was talking to that federal attorney earlier. Now, she's somebody that's been in the game and doing these dependency courts for like 28 years. Okay, if this lady ain't got it right, I don't know what to say, because again, you can see the fact that none of the attorneys want to be involved with this. Why? Because we're talking about getting these judges arrested that have committed these crimes, and nobody wants to be a part of that, especially in their own town where they live or whatever. And that's what's making it difficult, is to get people to stand up, and somebody that can get these to the authorities that are going to make the difference. Because we can sit here and chat all day, but it's not getting us the results we want. And people that haven't been in this for very long, I mean, they're still fighting to get their kids back. And we're here to bring knowledge that you might need going into the courts. Am I right?
Brenda, will you find out what state Dr. Death is in for that question?
Okay,
please?
Well, I think he might have heard you.
Okay, sorry, y'all. I do need to know, because
maybe Dr. Death is a Mrs. Dr. Death. Who knows?
but I will look for them their answer. I'll let you continue on. Sorry.
Look into that a little bit further. If you could just throw it in the chat, that'd be fine. Okay, because yes, again, okay, there is a federal law to stop CBS from moving my son across state from me and his mother. Okay, so we had Danielle with a similar problem where her mom passes away. All of a sudden, a guardianship was compromised. It was supposed to go directly back to Danielle, but it ended up her son was taken before 18. In my case, my kids, they were in Florida. Their brother, who is a doctor in Louisiana, was approved and certified to adopt his siblings through ICPC. Now, that's a state-to-state situation. And the thing is that isn't there a law that these children should go to the next of kin or to family? I mean, that's what I read over and over again, that they're supposed to, the priority is to get the children to family if there's a problem that they can't be with their parents. I mean, there is situations where parents can't take care of their kids, and that's understandable. But hello, we don't want to put them into worse situations than initially they were in the first place. And the thing is, it seems to me it's a lot about control. They want the control, like in the schools, in the public schools, they want that control. And I found that was another problem with my case, is that they were wanting to give my child this or children these standardized tests or whatever, how they have those yearly tests. And I said, well, sure enough, I'll give the children the tests. But they're saying, oh, well, they had to come down to school. Well, I'm sorry, I have a problem with that. I want to be the one to administer this test. And since I wasn't a certified teacher, they said I should hire on somebody. But, I said, if they're asking me what kind of accredited school program I had, you know what I said? Hey, I homeschooled 3 doctors. Okay, that's my program. Bye. No, I'm just kidding. Well, seriously, it's like they want to intrude on your life. I mean, we're doing fine on our own. Amen, sister. That's my sister, everybody. I finally got her to join. Herbert, this is my sister, Vicky. She lives in Ohio. And she was another one, okay? So when we saw things that were going south and not in our favor, because our caseworker said, oh, don't worry, the kids will, you're doing everything's going fine, you'll have the kids back soon. When we found out that wasn't the case, so I'm calling up my sister and saying, hello, what would you think about, taking your niece and nephew into your care? Since, I mean, you were a nurse's aide, right, Vicki? And she was already caring for her grandson that had epilepsy. So there would be no problem with her taking care of her niece that had autism and that really wasn't very bad off at all. So, but the thing is, as far as I understand it, she was threatened with consequences. Got a like anonymous call from Department of Children and Families saying that if she was to take the children, that she wouldn't be able to have any contact with me. Then this was my sister, not just the children, my sister, and that if that happened, that her and her husband could end up in jail. And who wants that in their life? Nobody wants to be in jail. So that was pretty understandable, is that her husband didn't want to be any part of that. But I don't know how she remembers it, but I remember the story that she gave me. And I don't even think they ever did a home study or anything like that. But my sister did fill out some paperwork in order to take custody of her niece and nephew. And again, that would be another interstate compact, interstate compact placement, because you're moving a child from state to state. But it seems like when they want the cards in their favor, they will decide, okay, well, we can make more money on this child that's in this institution over in one state, but if they send him over to another state, just like when Danielle was interviewed by the news over there in Georgia, they showed a graphic picture of how the children are being moved over to a different state, and through this Devereaux. And if anybody wants to look that up, I mean, Devereaux in Pennsylvania, that was part of the Kids for Cash case. Those judges were arrested, okay? And it was all about, they're wondering how they're going to put this money into their accounts that they were making off all these cases and these children. So it's a sick situation, people. And like I say, I'm sorry we got started so late, but we might be able to, or Danielle can come in and take over for the rest of the show if she wants, because in about 5 minutes, I gotta bail, because I'm supposed to have this video visit with Chris. But I mean, I think we have Obsidian coming on this afternoon, and then later we've got Gunnar coming in, and maybe me and Danielle will do another late night show. We'll see how it goes. This is what Vicky said. What happened? They said you would come to see them, like I would give you the kids. I don't break the law, right? Yeah, you wouldn't break the law. You wanted to make sure that your niece and nephew were safe. I mean, if that it's what it took, is to keep the parents away from that familiar bond. It would be better if they would be with a relative than some stranger that God knows. I mean, my kids were put into different cultures as well. My daughter, Sage, she couldn't even understand this Haitian lady that she was placed with. And think about it. I mean, I don't know if I dug a little deeper into this lady that was fostering all these other kids as well, up there in Charlotte County, Florida. I mean, she wasn't even from this country, yet they're handing her these kids left and right. And as far as I understand it, there was like 3 kids. They call them runners when they run away from these foster placements because I mean, it's sick. What's going on with these kids is just deplorable conditions. Everything. I mean, my daughter reported these things, but when they put these false bulletins on people, they're not going to believe what you have to say. They are going to take who are they going to listen to? They're going to listen to this old lady, or are they going to listen to whatever the cops got written down on their little piece of paper, even though it's false information? So, yeah, and that's the thing. And the kids were separated, right? And now what they told me, so when I was thrown into prison for trying to rescue Sage, then while on April 1st of 2020, they adopted the kids out to strangers, even though my son, who was in Louisiana, was already approved, certified to take placement of his siblings. He went through a home study. He went through, the ICPC. He went through parenting classes. This man went and got brand new beds with frames for the kids. We had dressers in each of their rooms. He rented a 3-bedroom apartment so that they would be able to, have enough room for the kids. And of course, we waited and waited, and that never happened. And mom ends up in jail, and they adopt the kids out to strangers, and that's the way that worked. But oh well, yeah. Sage was being abused because she reported abused. She reported that abuse. I have it on tape, but the tape where she actually reported the sexual assault, that tape seemed to disappear because that was also on her lead pad. I had 2 tapes of her, but when I got arrested in Mississippi, all of a sudden that tape was gone, and or whatever happened was very strange because I was trying to get my son and my husband to download this to give it to the attorney that I had in Charlotte County. I'm like, hello, the police, they were more concerned. Again, they're always concerned for their safety and everything else. And they're not worried about we the people, or they weren't concerned about our safety. It's supposed to be they serve and protect, but it seems that more often than not, they are serving and protecting themselves. And again, your son is going to be suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. Why? Because he's being ripped away from everything he's known. And it's just a sick situation, and anybody can, I'm sure, be assured that when you're taking that familial bond away from a child, there's going to be consequences to their mental health for sure. Okay. Anyways, guys, Danielle, you going to come in and take over, or are we going to wrap it up? Because I got to get going to this other thing. This was a short and sweet little thing, but maybe that's a good thing. All right. You want to
Well, we
you guys?
can. I've really got to. I got to get going myself, but I see
All
Gunner. Oh, that is loud. Woo.
All right. Well, okay.
Yeah, you can go ahead and go. We'll end it.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for joining.
Right.
And like I say, if I didn't have this going on, we definitely would have went a little
Gunner
bit.
can help me answer that question with the Dr. Deaths.
All right. Yeah. Help Dr.
Let me get in here, y'all. I'm going back in here. So, Gunner, you can hear me. There's a comment in the chat. A question is, let me find it though. It says, is there a federal, hold on, y'all. I would come on the screen, but I'm gonna have to cut the show short too, but let me find it, Gunner. He's right here. They're in Iowa, and they said, is there a federal law? Oh, there you are. Hold on, I'm coming up. Let me make sure I can hear this. Green. Goodness.
What?
Right, hold on now.
We're not going to show all the pizza boxes now. No, we get the ceiling fan, guys. Guys, welcome to Danielle's version of OnlyFans. I know you can't see in the background, but right now we're looking at her
I can see
ceiling
myself now.
and all the fans going around.
Let me turn that up. Sorry, y'all. I am not ready for this. All right.
We'll wing it. What's up?
Did you see his
What's going on?
right there? That one.
Federal law to stop CPS from moving my son across my
Yeah, they're in
state
Iowa.
to his mother. Federal stopping CPS from moving my son across there from me and his mother. I mean, if you've got visitation and some of those other things, I mean, as far as what you're talking about, them doing this, I mean, if they're going across state lines, yes, that's an issue, because that becomes a federal thing. Technically, when they move them across state lines, they lose all jurisdiction and authority.
I'm so sorry, guys, because I didn't realize it's not another hour. Sorry.
Oh, well, look,
My bad.
Gunner's here, but he's answering the question right quick, Brenda. For
Yeah, so even though that each state may have a contract with each other, say CPS has a contract with somebody out of state. Once that child technically goes across state lines, that original state, no longer has jurisdiction. Is what it comes down to. They could say we're doing this in the best interest of the court, this and that, but you got to remember the state sovereignty ends at the state line. Once you cross state lines, yes, it does become federal. If there's anything illegally done like that, and then the state takes them across state lines, that is considered under the law, what is described under the law as trafficking. Okay. That is human trafficking, going from state to state or place to place. Or basically the definition is removing from the original place of origin and transplanting them somewhere else outside of their, we'll say, community. Or, your people, where you live, your town, this and this and that. When it goes beyond that, yes, that is trafficking.
Well, what is the difference between trafficking and kidnapping then?
Trafficking, both are the same in some things. One is kidnapping is done for personal gain. Trafficking is done because of monetary value. In other words, you can get multiple charges of that with those things, such as kidnappers, for example, that do kidnap kids and hold them for ransom and go across state lines. Yes, they would pick up both the kidnapping charge and the trafficking charges when they cross state lines.
So trafficking is just for when they cross state lines, but otherwise, if it's in the state, it's kidnapping, right?
It's kidnapping. Yes, it's still within that thing. The federal government and how the law describes those particular. Once again, this is for educational purposes only.
Right.
You can do your own research and confirm everything I'm saying. And just so you know, I am actual press now. I do have my certifications. I'm on the National Registry. So that makes this an officially press release show the same way you would do and go for your news. So that's what's making a difference a lot within ours. And we're going to talk to Brenda. We're going to talk to you guys about that. There's some options. This makes us credible. And believe it or not, there are First Amendment rights that protects the press, which gives the people of the press actually have more rights than the basic citizen. So let's make that clear. So that's something
awesome
to discuss. I've gone into the history, the legalities of everything. So example, I don't know, who's a famous news person that's on right now?
Sierra Cummings is in Atlanta.
Listen, all those people on your news stations, all those people writing in the newspapers and everything else, I have the same credentials as they do.
That's what's up. Look, it's on.
I am considered a freelance journalist. Is
wow.
My classification. Now, there's a difference between a reporter, journalist, and everything else. They will educate you on the difference. Trust me, there is a lot to go through it. but journalists have a lot of freedom out there to report on multiple different things, and you actually have to go for your classification. In other words, you can do it on business, you can do it on research and development, you have to select a subcategory. Because ours are so broad, there is a thing there for other of saying, well, we're going to deal with, because there is a section for legal and politics as well. And I know this is important to you guys because you guys really need to know this of the people that are reporting the news. Other than that, there's nothing to it. Anybody can go do it and just get on the registry. No formal education, no training, no this and that. And here's one of the things to qualify for. You have to have just something published. Our show is a publishment.
Really?
So us. Yes, we are under the CPS Breaking News News Network.
Right. That's what's up.
Journalists and everything else on through there.
That's nice.
Because this is nobody makes any money. Eventually, we will probably setting this up as what is considered to protect everybody, a nonprofit,
like a 501.
We will do it completely out of this, and that protects us legally. It protects us a lot of things. So we are a growing news network, but that goes a lot into it. So when we talk about this, we're required to do our research, is what it's saying. That you take a thing, you're going to do your research, you're going to present the facts, you're going to present the news.
That would be more of a credible way to go about, like, knowing that definitely everything is fact checked, and we wouldn't be, you know what I'm saying, like that.
Well,
that would be like.
I actually aligned, and I'll share with you guys too. This is internationally recognized, not just the U.S.
Are you serious?
This is international. I can go over to Italy. I can give them my press credentials, and it is on an international wavelength.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and there's a lot of protection.
That's awesome.
So guys, know this channel is getting verified, certified, and everything else.
We're still out there.
There's a reason we took a little time off too. We did our research. We did some more homework. We found a way to make it better. There's a reason why. But going back to those things, you got to look at the legal definitions, and a lot of that goes back to what is kidnapping. Well, those definitions that you're always going for, what is this, what is that? There's two ways you got to look at it. One is in a Webster's dictionary. That is just considered common law or common language. Okay, that's the name that's in the courts. You have to go to Black's Law Dictionary and look up the same word. It means something different. It's not the same as common law language. It's what's part of what they call legalese. In other words, this is the legal definition of this word. Does that make more sense?
Yes.
Yeah, because as far as just the normal definition would be, kidnapping is taking somebody against their will, right?
Yes.
So they charged me with kidnapping, even though my daughter was like, hey, I've been waiting for you. Get me out of here. Of course, when it comes to CPS and these cops that work with them, they didn't look at it in that way, because they're trying to cover up the fact that house was deplorable conditions and my daughter was being neglected and abused.
Well, once again, the other thing that they're coming out with, that unless your parental rights were terminated, you actually have every right to go see your child under the Constitution. That's what some of the rulings that are coming out. This thing with Texas of saying this new bill about parent alienation and everything else that's happening.
I saw that today.
CPS is doing that. They're quoting federal law saying this is here's the thing. Remember what I told you guys about Texas and what we found out? They are going to lead the way because they are one of the most corrupt things, and this is a very big money marketing scheme for them. All of this is a fucking scheme to control and do cultural genocide.
Cultural genocide,
Remove everything you have and destroy your children in the sense of family. So the society, then the public school and everybody else that does have the influence, now that you're removed, now becomes the parent and raises the child. Do you see what's happening? This was done by design. And does your public school teach the Constitution and everything? Yeah, they may have a class on it, but here's the real issue. Can they read the original documents in its original text? Go test your kids. Go test, and that's the challenge to point out to everybody on how corrupt it got with public school. We knew how to read, write, I mean, you guys all did the same thing. Cursive, could read the
Mhm. But now they don't even do cursive.
every morning to our country.
Mhm.
It was about a republic,
Yep.
not a democracy, which is
Right.
a lie. Do you see how
Wow.
much they changed in a short period of time to
Right.
overthrow our government?
It's crazy. It's crazy. And just how brainwashed they made us. I mean,
Now, listen, this is my, and I don't want to change. And Brenda, I didn't know if you had another subject, but this is one that really spoke to me. And since all of us are here, I want to ask you something. I'm going back and I'm watching this series on Netflix. Love it. It's on Cold War and the Bomb. Okay. And it goes through history of how we got involved in World War II.
oh
And
wow.
here's the thing, it even covers during JFK and why he got assassinated.
What?
Go back and look at the old history clips. These are the old black and whites of the
Wow.
propaganda and everything they saw. But now that we know for sure that the vice president, Lyndon B. Johnson, became president, killed, and what he killed over, go back and look at some of what brought up to that and what he inherited and when he became president that led up during World War II after Eisenhower.
Wow.
Oh, that
How long has it been playing the series?
It's a more recent series. I think there's like 5 or 7 episodes on it.
That's
But
good.
now, knowing what we know, we really have to go back and look at our history books and the
Oh
things
man.
and the things we believed and the things we grew up with.
Make
It
us
now
second guess.
go back and change. Why? Our country was overthrown,
Oh
and that's
wow.
what JFK was trying to expose.
Oh wow.
And when they did, they killed him for it and put the person that was there to watch him. What happened during Trump's first presidency?
He
Who
got
look out for his vice president,
uh-huh.
his plant. Same thing for Kennedy.
Wow.
It's history repeating itself. If you guys don't pay attention to
That
this,
it's so funny you say that because I was thinking that just the other day. I felt like I was in like deja vu, and I'm like, what? It's like
what
it's like a,
has changed for? I mean, like you, Brenda. I mean, how much did you grow up with in your household that all this stuff with communists and then coming to find out with this, Russia wasn't as powerful as what we were told.
no.
Right.
Oh, that changes everything. And then to find out the CIA had what was it, a castle that they're revealing on this, like a castle
Yeah.
Well, they were
building
doing
in
like
East
human
when
experimentation.
Berlin split from Germany,
Wow.
that they were part of this.
Yeah. I was I seen something about that where they were doing these human experimentations on these people. It was the CIA, and they it was with the Kennedy thing again. They said that John Wilkes, I can't remember his name now. I'm mixing that up with Lincoln, but any case, yeah, it was just like
Did you hear about RFK released just this past week from his investigation at a DHH? Sorry, Department of Health and Human Services, that he's actually talking about actually shutting it down completely because of what he found that we were perpetrating, and he called it out this week. He has seen human trafficking of over 300,000 children. They're looking for right now the federal government that
I've
will
seen that.
by CPS and calling it out as human fucking trafficking and saying this shit's got to stop. Like
You talking about RFK?
Yes.
Yes, I saw that, and I was like,
CPS out as being 300,000
that
children.
300,000 children. He said he's gonna find them. That's crazy, and that's ridiculous. And
Now, hold on. And did you hear what else they were doing this past week with that? He also announced that they were doing drug experiments in foster homes.
yes, I did. And yes,
Doing it now. Listen.
I saw
Listen
that.
to me very, very closely. This is the same exact thing that we told you guys about months ago about the sanitariums that were in every state. This is the same thing. They never went away. They closed the sanitariums. You know what it did? It flooded that into your neighborhoods. And now everybody's an experiment to bring your children, even younger, Why? What were they getting out of them? Babies, human
Babies.
experiments. You realize there's women out there that CPS is paying women to get knocked up and paying for hookers' children's and their
Oh my
treatments.
gosh,
They
Like,
get. I was just
oh
talking
wait,
about that yesterday because
Brenda, was that you talking about that person yet? Oh
the
my
lady that
god.
was
So
next
it
to
is
me
true.
when I
Oh
was in
my.
Charlotte County Jail,
Yes.
yeah.
And I asked Brenda, I said, Brenda, was the CPS? Like, was she getting paid or were they just getting her? I mean, because wasn't she mentally challenged too, Brenda?
Well, that's what it seemed to me. It was like more like she was on something, like Gunnar was saying. What are they, yeah, like experimenting on these different drugs or whatever?
these
And
kids are in foster homes and they're drugged out, man. They're experimenting on
Well,
them. They
think about
by
my son when he come home. He was over medicated and everything, and they were trying all new kinds of things. And
I'm
then,
telling you,
and I'm yes, and he was totally.
up.
All his lab tests were like all his labs
And
were thrown
how many
off bad.
times did I say? And the
You're right.
everything I said, everybody's sure crazy. It's not happening now. RFK is confirming everything
Yes,
we've had. Do
yeah.
you wonder
And
why we're
think
pressured
about
and
like
everything
with
else?
his right.
Because we're breaking the stories.
And with the autism thing, when he mentioned about like the kids that were they were normal, and then at 2 years old, they were like got diagnosed with autism, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden he's like, this ain't caused by like this ain't like hereditary. It's the environment. It's us. And I'm like, oh. And my son, I can tell y'all right now, my son was normal until we laid him down one night. He was 3 years old, and he woke up. We woke up the next day straight back to baby mode. He was potty trained and everything. So RFK is correct when he
that's
said
like
that.
you're saying, you can't put your child into public school unless they're
But
fully
that
vaccinated. So
that
there you
I mean,
go.
so
And
when
what's
RFK said that,
your children don't need to have this stuff. Do you realize
no,
you're getting vaccinations for stuff that can be the reason we have a vaccine is because we didn't have a cure or we thought it was that, and now
right,
we know stuff like measles and some of these other things and this that it's not that bad, and people freak out about measles. It's like it's not that bad. You're going to get them. They're going to be like the chicken pox. I mean, you had the measles, you had the chicken pox. Whatever it was. But here's the reason
we're
that we
insane. Let us be insane, man.
is we got away from our nature, our medicines within our plants. Then now they find out, oh no, we've had a cure for that. Did you know they had
And
a cure for fucking Alzheimer's and have
and
had
and,
it for over 40 years,
and
but they
that's
refuse
messed.
to give this.
Refuse to let it. Yeah, that's messed up. But they
You're
just hit
saying
it out
big pharma makes how much off of? How much did they start making big money off of that stuff with Alzheimer meds?
a
Take
lot.
this, it makes the effects a little bit better. It does this a little bit better. And the farmers are over here that now they're coming out. Oh, we cured that 40 years ago.
Thank you, Jamie.
Are
That,
you fucking kidding me? Yeah,
right.
you
It's
this
ridiculous. And then
gone. So long as it's not that bad. And then to come to find out, it's part of a parasite that goes up into your brain that
oh
causes
god. Oh my goodness. Is that really what they say?
here. Yes.
Oh,
Listen,
oh yeah, we
even
talked. Oh
I
my
want to
god.
tell the people out there that are city people and you're not country. And a lot of people turn around and say, listen, we don't have those things here. Listen, you have got bugs in your house. You are exposed to everything, even though you don't slaughter the animal and you handle the meat or you are exposed to it in any fashion or form. You are susceptible to parasites,
Right.
whether you live on a farm or not.
It's
How
true.
many of us grew up with a parasite cleanse in our thing? And this is not a promotion for anything else. This
No,
is science. You are eating meats, you are eating this, you are eating that, you're eating with
it's
bugs,
true.
larvae, everything else. This is in our food. Yes, it's meant to kill it, but we
Yeah,
also have natural ways of getting rid of it that
right.
we don't have to get sick. And no, it's not a joke.
Right. I
I
mean,
mean, how much of that were you guys taught though to do a cleanse or did something habitually every year?
well,
Then
I mean,
you have to do it according to moon cycles because of the way parasites do that. Parasites are tied to moon cycles. It's the absolute truth.
well, that's one of those things that I guess was never really talked about because I mean, I knew that like with science and growing up in school, they said a little bit, but they said it would. I mean, I never knew that we had to like take a cleanse. You know what I mean?
But think about it. If other people are doing it and you're finding this out, like the Amish and this and that, Very rarely are they sick. Do they need pharma
Right,
meds at all?
right. I know a woman like she was.
Here's our problem. We are the most. Here's the issue too. This is an absolute fact. You can look it up. America is the most over medicated country in
Yep,
the world
yep, that is true. And we are
because
like the laziest too.
wow, holistic medicines.
Right.
Just
I
that
mean,
simple.
you don't
Unless
see.
you're you look at somebody. What do you say? Them backwood hillbillies, everything else, making
Right.
them mom and pop this
Hmm.
remedies. This. Let me tell you something. There is something to it.
Yep.
But we've lost that. Welcome to your cultural
Right.
genocide.
Yep.
Now
It's
have
like my.
control over your life.
Yep.
You have no ability. You're sick all the time. So now the money you
Yep.
do work for that you're supposed to better your life and your family, what are you paying for? All these drugs to make you
Hmm.
feel better, but with no cure.
I mean, there's things now that it's like it was fine 10 years ago, but now it's like it'll give you an allergic reaction, or you'll break out, or you'll get sick from it. It's crazy. It's like whoa, but
Thinking
Your
anytime
immune
I
system
like
shuts off
cut up
hormones.
or raw chicken, I always like get really sick afterwards. Like yeah,
really,
good.
wow.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
And you
something.
know,
with meat, you do have a meat thermometer and do cook it to the temperatures it says on
you know,
there.
they told
Tolerance.
the
That
doctor,
for
my
you though.
my my cousin's doctor. She's pregnant, and then when she was pregnant, the doctor told her, doctor told her, do not go to the store and get your meats. Go to your local butcher, and like get your fresh food, because and don't get the meat at the store. And I'm like, and she looked at me and she said, why would they be telling me that? I said, oh, I know why. You
You
got
know,
them babies, and that's natural. If they're not filling that food, the meat's full of all that crap.
there's well, it's not just the meat's full of crap. It's actually a thing in there to kill a majority of parasites and everything it possibly can. That's
But
what
it's
it's used for.
yeah.
But see, your body is used to if you're doing the cycle. Once
Mhm.
everything is cycle, you're trying to eliminate the cycle of having to do that by processing your foods.
Right,
That's the
right.
theory behind it is to clean up your
But
foods with
some of that food you can't get processed.
instead of
Your body won't
I can
process.
eat whatever the hell I want. I could go out and have raw milk. I can go out and have, and a lot of people won't, and they won't. But once
Mhm.
again, it depends on what it is. But I'll tell you what, you've never had better cheese or better butter in your life than something fresh.
Right. Oh yeah, no
Again,
doubt.
listen, there's a lot of people that are dairy farmers. They'll do it. You know why? The
Mhm.
antibodies.
Uh-huh.
You
Yep.
realize in all that, all the antibodies, all the good stuff from milk, any kind of animal, whether it's a woman, yeah, if it's milk, we can do this. We do it with goat's milk. We do this, that. Women can reverse that also for animals. And
Yep.
people don't know that.
It's
And
stuff that
you,
people don't talk
and you
about.
had communities and families, and all women work together. The reason they kept the women together with all the babies and this and that is that if you dried up, you had wet nurses for free. Now women are figuring some of this shit out and saying, "I'm selling my fucking breast milk. I'm too damn much." And there are women that will buy that, and other people say the formula don't work. I'm dried up. I
Mhm.
don't know what to do for my baby. Go find something else that has good
It's
breast milk.
everything needs to be natural.
That reminds
Believe
me
it or
of
not,
that
it works.
Because
second
I'm
Mad Max movie. That's
like,
they were oh that they were breeding the women. Yeah, they were all
Yeah.
milk. Did anybody see that like newer version of Mad Max? Oh, that was weird.
you
Yeah.
know, and then well, I know I've mentioned it to y'all, but I found out what that email was, and I did the grant thing. But what it is with the U.S. HHS ACF, which is the United States Health and Human Services Administration and Children and Families Office of Financial Assistance, and I'm chosen to be a grant reviewer, which means I will be taking training to look over proposals and approving grants from these with the HHS, and I'm like, whoa. So that and Gunner, that was pretty. I mean, so yeah, I was starting my
Well,
training soon. I mean, and that's with the funding, and that's going to be
a
like they're going to.
lot of this too is finding people. If you're going to go out and work, just don't go out and work for somebody. Work somewhere that makes a difference.
They showed me like I couldn't believe
Yeah.
it.
Well, and the point is, that's the whole point of everything else is is most people think I just got to go to work because I just have to, make money, because then that's the frame of mind that they've programmed you to. Think if
Right.
you had opportunity used everything you learned, even after you got to a certain point, and saying, listen, I could do a job and still get paid good money and do something in public service.
Right.
But people have found a way to make that a living.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And never go through. I mean, but never have any real world experience. Like they get out, do a few things, don't do really good at it, but they're a good salesman.
Right.
And a good politician is a good salesman. I mean, am I wrong?
Right. No, you're right.
But and that's what it comes down to. And you
Like
believe
yeah.
that person is going to do what they've promised. And there's nothing people think, my thing didn't do this, my thing didn't do, my representative did that, or you have a whole area that says, well, my representative went against our people. And here's the thing, your representatives really should be going back. And if you were truly in touch with the people, we would be giving input, every single one of us that lived in those areas, on those subjects and how we wanted them to vote, or give them our opinion from our thing.
Right.
We have lost
You get
contact with our
Dr.
representatives.
Death is in Iowa. Did you
Yes,
notice
I got that. Yeah, I got that. Yeah, we were talking about that. His question.
when I went in? Okay.
So with everything going on, like what you just said about RFK and the 300,000 children. So I mean, this is RFK, and he's even making moves like and rocking at it. Like, look, I tell you what, I back that man straight up all the way.
You don't think they're listening? They're listening to us.
Oh yes, they are.
We're
Look,
making enough.
Danielle's been chosen to look over grant proposals. Like, hell yeah, let's look.
Yeah, a lot's going to change, in that power should have been in the power of the people.
I can't look, and that's I'm experiencing. We're
If it's
seeing it.
300,000 children, that means it's 600,000 parents. There you go. I mean,
But where are these kids? That's the question. Here in Georgia, they had 1,800 that were missing with that investigation Ozoff did. Well, my God, now we're sitting at 300,000 for the whole United States. What?
The only way you could possibly get a true number would be to, and I'm going to say the words, is declare martial law, and then basically go
martial law. It's coming.
Everywhere through this, find these damn kids and get the search warrants of anything that's suspicious.
That's right.
Watch everything else, understanding now that everything in public can be recorded. That's fine. You're in public, but what's behind your doors? You guys have got to understand what your Fourth Amendment means as we move forward with technology. That means not beyond these walls.
What's up, man?
There's a lot of privacy there, and this is really going to be pushed as we move forward as a country, because they're going to have cameras everywhere, or this or that. Why? Satellites looking down, this, all that great in public. But when it comes to my private dwelling, that's what the Constitution says stop. And it's going to have to be respected, and they're going to push that boundary. They already are.
I had a question. Like,
even with police.
Brenda said something earlier to me today about the martial law thing and law enforcement. What were you saying? And she said the way what did you say, Brenda?
Well,
you said they're
just signed something.
Yeah, go ahead.
And it was saying that the guy was saying that they were going to release cops that have been put in jail for whatever cops get in jail for. Okay, usually it's abusing
or stuff like that. Yeah.
But are they trying to misconstrue that? Because they were talking about martial law, and then they were making it sound like they're going to release the bad cop.
But before we go,
I know.
We need to clarify something very, very, very important.
Right.
There are two types of martial law.
Yep. And that's why I wanted you to just explain, like,
by your governor, okay, where the governor calls in the National Guard to take over an area and work with or come in
and replace law enforcement right there.
And support police and this and that, but the governor then takes control of that area.
Yep.
Mayors, anything else, he says, now I'm putting my foot down and this and that, and usually it's should be something constitutionally or very bad, or to calm down because of something has happened.
Like they would have to enforce the federal law, right? Is that
Right. Well, the idea is to keep the peace, to
right?
stop riots, to do
That
this,
is
to do
true.
that, to when there are situations that do arise, to minimize. The idea is never to zero out. Everybody says, "Well, we can reach zero," not without violating constitutional rights. To minimize the amount of damage and impact and deaths, fatalities, anything else that would cause any kind of impact or cost is the way they look at it. Um, for anybody in that particular area and to keep the peace.
Right.
There's a second kind.
Now look at what Peachwood is saying. If Democrats cared about children and not just their party, they would want to slow down the border crossing.
Well, look at Biden. Look at the Biden amendment. I mean, look what was going on. And
You're
look
going
at
to do a history search on the Democratic Party and what they truly are representing, and understanding there was a shift in the
yes, sir.
70s. This is why Ronald Reagan switched, and most of you may not be old enough to understand this, but Ronald Reagan switched from the Democratic Party,
Mhm.
and he told you exactly why publicly. If you don't believe me, go look it up.
It's
How it
true.
was changing and what it was doing. That's
Mhm.
why he ran under a Republican ticket.
Yep.
Most people don't understand that, or oh, I don't know. So that I think plays a big role. I mean, don't you, Brenda? I mean, most people don't know that, but doesn't that change everything that we know that there was a shift and now we see Democrats of today versus the 1980s? They go, wow, what a
I
difference.
mean, they're going out to the streets and they're swearing and they're, just acting like the fools. And their focus seems to be on attacking, the president, Elon Musk, and all these people. Why? Because they're ready to call these guys out for what's going on. I mean, the
It's
immigrants
like a
are.
high school drama. I mean, it's like a drama. Like they're childish, immature. I mean, they're
Now,
acting out.
listen, you can go back and I want you to really go watch that series, okay?
I'm definitely
This
going.
goes through history, and I'm not kidding you. Watch through it because it will get more modern with time. But it's going to scare you because now we know what we know about that. This thing called the deep state, the corporation, and this and that. That was Lyndon B. Johnson. That was a thing overtaking. Did you notice during that time too? There was a slow shift between calling it our republic versus our democracy, and how that word has now gotten into even Republicans' names. You know, our democracy, our democracy. We don't have a democracy, and I don't understand how anybody can serve in any manner of Congress or the Senate to call this nation a democracy when it's not. That there in its alone really right there reveals your political agenda to overthrow this government. And that's exactly what they have attempted to do. And they did do. And I think that people are now waking up to it and going, wait a minute, because they're going to go down this aspect and they're going to go down what? The legal aspect. How bad can we take and prove that we're right?
Yeah,
When
do
it
you
comes-
remember the name of the show you've been talking about? That's on Netflix, right?
That's on Netflix. It's a Netflix special, believe it or not. It's just a history show, and it goes through, and it's called I think it's like the Cold War, and it's talking. It was basically through World War II into the present time of how it's affect things. And it was about the atomic bomb and how it impacted our country and the way things went through and what was going on, the missile crisis. And it goes through all the history of the politics that our country dealt through during the proper time period. And now that you know that,
I was just thinking, did you see that movie Oppenheimer? I mean,
I'm just saying these are the actual. No, here's the difference. This is actual news footage they're showing, not just this and that. These are the news footage results from everybody back then, even on the other side. What they were saying, the people that survived, it's part of their testimony. I was there at Hiroshima. I survived it. That type of shit. So it's a little bit different perspective. It's peeling back the onion and going, but now that we know that we have been overtaken by the corporation, and that's what we've been fighting, and the one that's been pushing for everything corporate and all these social programs, who's the one making the big noise? It ain't the Republicans. It's the Democrats and everything else that are running their socialist programs and Marxist programs under hidden agendas under USA. You said that Elon Musk is exposed, and that's the first thing that they're whining and crying about is we lost our money for this, or lost our money for that, and lost our money for this and that. And even in your local environments, you're starting to see those ads on Facebook and this and that. Oh, because of these budget cuts, look what it took, and it cut our program, and there's no program. And it's like, okay, so find something else to do. Let alone the millions and millions and millions of dollars that we were sending over to other things, let alone that one company they exposed that was heavily armed and sending money to the fucking Taliban. Are you kidding me? Those are acts of treason. Our enemies, they're funding our enemies that were supposedly attacking us. Or was this all a big CIA op? Is it true that Osama bin Laden was actually a CIA guy that went in there and penetrated so far, and then he was in so damn deep he couldn't get out? Was he really?
It always gets those, like in Israel with the tunnels, and P. Diddy, it was with the tunnels. It's like whatever's going on in these tunnels is usually not good. I can tell you that.
Tunnels, you know what the tunnels were?
Yeah, the traffic.
Air Force Base that where MK Ultra was taken and performed. That's been declassified. Mm-hmm. So those tunnels they talk about in California are the old underground maintenance things for the old runways. Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then currently, I mean, then in the modern days, they used it like they said from P. Diddy's place to the Playboy Mansion. They had.
Yeah, that's all built on the old airport. The whole thing. And yes, those things run the length of the airways, and there's an interchange underground system there. Matter of fact, there's talk of, I think Elon was talking, there was something revealed that over there in Silicon Valley is what I believe they call it, that they've actually used that system and turned it into a tube system that they don't even travel on the surface anymore. They go underground like a subway in tubes and stuff.
Well,
I think Elon took somebody for a ride in his tube system. Like that. I'm like, are you kidding me? Yeah, they've been spending money on it.
They hide in these tunnels right under the hospitals and the schools and stuff like that. That's what's going on. And it was weird to me that Israel come up with this thing where it's like you're putting foam in a crack. They were using this foam to block up those tunnels. So God forbid, whoever was down there, that they seen their death, whatever.
And then Texas just got caught. Here's another big one that's come out this week. Texas just got popped for sending money to Israel, and when they took and turned around and try to divert it to spend it more, millions of dollars, ungodly amounts of money,
really,
to spend it back on people that are in Texas. The governor gets on there and says, you can't do that. You'll be breaking the law. We're sending this amount of money to Israel, whether you like it or not. Whoa. What a misuse of state. And you wonder why your taxes are so high or why you pay property taxes when you find out how much they're wasting, that we shouldn't be paying this shit. Our whole system of design within, the actual true way of doing this type of economy that we have with capitalism is that our businesses are to support our social infrastructures without the people paying anything. In other words, the businesses carry all the load. Okay? They're the ones that are supposed to benefit our lives. That's the way this is designed. But it's not, is it? Instead, they tax us. Property tax, plate tax, this tax. Here you got to pay tolls now. We're going to make certain roads.
Yeah, and they get the letters in the mail that, hey, you went through a toll, you got to pay this, and you got to watch out for that, because they're just people making up text. Okay, you owe this money because you went through a toll. No, I didn't.
Listen, there are even ordinances and this and that they are trying to. And here's the thing that cracks me up: you've broken this ordinance in our city or our town. You have to pay this, and that. Technically, no, you don't. Why? Federal case law, and you take it all the way to the federal court. Go ahead, take it to the federal courtroom and challenge it, and you're going to win. Why? Because all codes, rules, regulations, statutes, all that shit is for government only. In other words, commercial use, which is the only thing they have power for unless we contract with them. That's very clear. Otherwise, it's not legal. Well, that the state has a state law. The state can't have a state law, not over the people. Why? Because of the Constitution. It forbids it. You've been lied to. You've been programmed. No, there is no other law besides the Constitution. The Constitution states it. Just that simple. So all the other codes and the other stuff that they've been forcing on you and paying for their police state, if you want to call it, some have called it that. Now you're getting taxed for all this, so you're paying and paying, but we all feel safe. But here's the thing: you took and you now have safety and security for your rights, and the Constitution completely forbids that. Hey, Chris, where'd you go, Brenda? I think you got muted and your camera went off.
She probably went to Chris. It's supposed to call her.
Okay.
Not Chris. Yeah, Chris, her husband. She.
Oh, now you decide to come in, and we're.
Look, I've been in and out. I was supposed to look.
I know, squirrel.
Yeah, I know, right? Look, I can't even tell which way I'm gonna go now. Shit, got me all squirrely now. Shit.
Yeah, no kidding. You forgot to call me back last night.
I know. Look, I got so much stuff going on, y'all. Look,
Listen, we're just trying to get this show stuff together.
We got
so much going
it's
on.
A lot, y'all. It's a lot. We got a lot going on.
We're all covered up. All this stuff going on.
And then that what I talked to you about when I sent you that message about this stuff with the grants and stuff. I thought that was pretty cool. I just didn't know what it was, and I thought it was a joke. But no, it's real life stuff, and that's pretty cool. So I'm wondering what they're doing to include like stuff like people like me to be able to look over the grants, because that's. You got to think this is going to be like CPS requesting these grants.
And one of the things is whether or not, like I said, it's having a fair discussion and having average people help make decisions, and it balances out. So long as you meet the threshold or the guidelines, that you can be fair and apply the guidelines and rules to this application, what they're looking for, then you're fine. It's when you step outside those bounds and everything else, and you have favoritism of, well, I'm going to bring in my own beliefs and my own like CPS does. What do they do? You deal with CPS work, or do you just deal with their rules and statutes, or do you believe church, they're this, they're that? That's illegal.
Right.
When you work for the state or anything else, you leave whatever it is you believe and everything else at the door and perform the job without the attitude, without your, all this other things. And if you don't agree with it, then quit. Because working for everybody sucks. Because you have to appease everybody, which means we're all, if you will say, neutral. You're not supposed to bring it in there. And that's the way the Constitution looks at it. There's no black, there's no white, there's no race, there's no color, there's no this, and there's not supposed to be, and there's no sex. No male, no female.
Human race. Everybody's.
Y'all didn't see that, did you? I just totally tripped out, busted butts. Sorry. I was like, whoa. I'm about to fail. I've tripped over my brother's blanket.
We over-squirreled ourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Danielle's world. So squirrely, she stepped on her own tail and tripped.
Look, y'all didn't see me about go. Look, y'all didn't see my face. That was embarrassing. I'm so sorry, y'all. Jeez. I was just trying to go get my tea. Dang it. That was it.
But listen, there's a lot of stuff going on that we have to now take some time and look back to understand what is going on today that a lot of people don't understand. And I know a lot of us have lived a lot of life, especially a lot of us that are a little bit older. But now we know something completely different. We had a question mark. Now we have an answer, and that changes everything for both sides. And if both sides don't want to look at it like this, I don't care, Republican, Democrat, this or that. This is an overthrow to the Constitution. And I'm sorry, that's exactly what it is. Instilling their beliefs that are unconstitutional. And trust me, they're all going to get ready to get caught here really, really, really soon, because it's all going to come down. And then what are they going to do, Brenda? They're just going to scrape it all away. And the only thing left is going to be Constitution. And here's the beautiful thing. Instead of calling out martial law, we have an option to act civilly and act like Americans and go, we don't need to be policed. We're supposed to be self-governing. We don't need all this. When we can shake that off and prove, like I said, and make to the point, that's the point they say, well, you don't prove because of this, that. That's because you got somebody that won't follow the Constitution. Leave me alone. Let me do my stuff. Go to my this and that. And other than that, let me keep what I have and try and have a better life. But we've watched the American dream slowly die down to there's no such thing. And if you have one, they've came for it and they've destroyed it.
Right? Exactly. God forbid you come out and say what your dream and hopes to do in the future, because they'll crush it. They'll crush it. Oh my God! And that's what the other thing they are talking about. Did you hear about this, Gunner? That they said that next month is going to be Nuclear Family Month, and of course, you know me, you ain't gonna have a Nuclear Family Month without Brenda saying something about this, because we were just that before everything was taken away from us. So are you going to recognize nuclear families? I mean, all of these nuclear families have been destroyed. It doesn't make any sense.
It makes perfect sense when you understand what they're after and what they want. The point is to destroy the family, make the system educate, be your family. And once again, they thought that we used to thought that, a lot of that was a lot of bad things when they joined gangs or when they joined, clubs or this or that, people that didn't have family. And to come to find out that's not true. Those are people you can count on. A lot of people ask me, they says, well, hey, what happens if you've got a small kid and this and that? What would you do? Do you take and you train your kid to go towards a cop and go find the nearest cop or go find a policeman? I go, oh, hell no. I always raise my kids, but if you've got something wrong and you're in danger, go find you a biker. Go find you the man with the most rings
than you, but
and this and that dude that just looks scruffy like he ain't had a shower in a day. Because I guarantee you, here's the difference. A police officer is paid to do that. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you this much about every biker that I've ever known. That's their oath and their duty. They do it for free. They do it out of honor and code. That says something that I cannot say about the people that are in law enforcement. I'm sorry. And most Americans believe the same thing.
Yeah, well, it's they made that for themselves. I mean, we used to have faith in the oath of being a police officer, but when you're wearing the costume and not doing your duty, I mean, you're going to lose the faith of all these people. I mean,
they've lost sight, and this is the thing I say to law enforcement. You've been deceived. You've gotten so caught up in statutes and codes and this and that, and you forgot your original oath. You're supposed to be a gatekeeper. When you take that oath and everything else of the Constitution, nothing else matters. And when you find out that there is a code, a rule, or regulation that you think, this sounds kind of unconstitutional, or this training seems a little on the edge of constitutionality, and don't get the reassurance of well, this is what your superiors did, this, that. No, that needs to go directly to the state. Is this constitutional? We have constitutional questions. Here's the other thing. No, not the state. Here's why. State don't have jurisdiction over constitutional issues, right?
Right.
So why don't we send it to the federal government and have them double check all these training that law enforcement and everything else is done for constitutionality?
That's the same thing you got to do with these CPS cases. You can't handle it in the lower courts. You got to take it to federal. Same difference. Anyways,
in those lower courts, one of their things and everything else is supposed to be following the Constitution while instituting those things. You got to understand, all smaller forms of, like I said, state government, that still has to follow the Constitution. They can't even pass a code or statute that's unconstitutional. They're not supposed to trick you into a contract. Well, for you to be legal, you're right to be legally married, but do I need it? Well, our state doesn't recognize common law or doesn't do this and that. And then they turn that on people. And then they created no fault divorce.
History repeats itself.
Wow.
What's going on in Chicago, guys?
Everything.
Everything.
It's bad.
Chicago.
Well, good, Chris. I think we
That's
talked
good.
about that.
Yeah. And we're about wrapping it up because
Yeah.
it's getting that time, guys.
Obsidian's getting ready to come on at 7.
All
I
right.
think. Right?
He's getting the edge.
Yeah.
All right.
So, all right.
Guys,
Daniel,
stay
I'll
tuned
take and
for
get
our
him
Obsidian.
going, and then I'll holler at you right after the show.
Cool
Okay.
beans. Sounds good. Sounds good.
Thanks everybody for
But,
joining.
all right,
Thank
y'all.
you.
Guys,
All
stay
Everybody,
right.
tuned.
y'all
All
be
right.
looking. Like, we
Bye,
got
guys.
Obsidian at 7, and Gunny is gonna be on tonight at 9:30. Gunny's gonna be on at 9:30, y'all. So be on the lookout for those
Oh,
shows.
we're gonna have some fun tonight.
Good. Is Sharon gonna be here with y'all? Is Sharon coming too? Cool. Cool.
No,
Good.
she's out, but she will be back
Next week.
down soon this week. We have some things to take care of. So yes, we
Cool.
got delayed what we were working on. But this week it's game the fuck on.
Right, and I'm gonna tell y'all, look, with everything that with our little break, like the little downfall we thought, I'm telling you right now, it's balls to the wall, and now I feel so. Look, are y'all ready? 'Cause I'm ready. I know Gunner ready. I know Brenda. It's about let's rock. We gonna pack this up and we gonna get it done. Just let's.
The
Yep.
Constitution will return.
Ready? Yes,
Or
or another.
We're just gonna what's
I
that
feel
term right now? There's a little fire. We're gonna pour a little napalm. Oh wait, not napalm. That, oh yeah, that little napalm on that.
Don't need.
So since they've got everything going, everything is going on, guys. We have a nation shocker that will blow your mind.
Let's go.
Our channels, Brenda's, other shows. We're revamping some of that's one thing we got to talk about too is the late show during the week. I wanted to get Brenda in there too. If you can get in there sometimes in the evenings. Like I said, we're covering a lot. Guys, they're literally coming after us, all these crooked CPSs, using their connections to try and take some of us out. They've got a couple of us. That's fine.
But they ain't gonna win.
But it ain't going to win because once the truth comes out, it's over.
That's why we stand together in this, y'all. I'm here. We're here. We got to be there for each other.
That's why we're going to keep pushing on. Guys, have a great day. See y'all later.
Bye, y'all. All right, everybody. Y'all be good. Be safe. Have a good evening. Enjoy your evening. Be on the lookout for the Obsidian at 7 here in like 15, 20 minutes. And then Gunny at 9:30. All right. And then we might have a late night show tonight. But y'all, I'm sending my love out to y'all. And I thank y'all for coming in with us. And thank you, Chris. Thank you, everybody. And be good, be safe, and keep fighting, y'all. We're in this. We're in this together. We're gonna get our kids home, and we're gonna get back right. Y'all already know we're in this fight, and we can't back out, y'all. These are real stories, real families, real children going through unimaginable pain, going through things that we should never have to go through. Trying to navigate through this system that's broken. Well, it's time to fix it. Let's get her done. All right, everybody. Y'all be good, be safe. Much love to y'all, and see y'all later. Bye.
In shadows deep, where voices cry but none can speak, in halls of whispers secrets keep, we're here to break the silent streak. Stand up, fight, don't let it go, reveal the truth they won't show. In the darkness light will grow, justice rises.